In today's video, we're taking a look at the 2024 NHL Draft. We're going to complete a mock draft for the top 16 selections, and that's coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, today we're doing a mock draft. This is going to be our first full mock draft since the night of the NHL Draft Lottery. When the draft lottery was completed, we did do a video discussing the results and the official draft order for the top of the draft since it was confirmed. And I did throw together a quick mock draft of who I thought teams would take at that point. That was obviously a couple weeks ago now, and obviously at this point some of those prospects are still playing, some are not. So some of the consensus around them have changed a little bit. And now that we've had more time to kind of think about what each team kind of needs and what these players and how they might fit these organizations, my opinions have changed a little bit on what I think is going to go down. So some picks might be the same, but there's a fair bit here that I think is going to be different. So I thought it'd be a wise time to do a new mock draft. I might do one more of these again before the draft, like maybe in a few weeks' time, heading into June perhaps. There's still some, like I said, some players playing. We get the Memorial Cup coming up. There's bound to be a few different opinions on a few players, maybe change here or there. And then, of course, there could be some movement at the draft as well between teams in the top part of the draft, either moving up or down or whatnot, which could change the order again and kind of think what we need to do. So let's take a look now at what I think, as of today, will be your top 16 selections. Selecting first overall, of course, we have the fortunate San Jose Sharks who won the lottery, and there's no doubt they're going to take Macklin Celebrini here. Been a consensus number one overall pick for quite a long time, which is great that he has links to the area as well. Of course, his dad works for the Golden State Warriors. He's played some youth hockey in the area as well, which is great. Complete player. Draws comparison, a little bit of Sidney Crosby in his game, but more so a Jonathan Toews type, where he's going to be a pretty solid 200-foot player, a really smart player, can drive to play, franchise-altering player. I'm not sure we can call him generational, but certainly franchise-altering. It will take the San Jose Sharks a long ways out of this rebuild. Lots of talent, and will be a top-line center for this team for many years to come. Picking next at second overall, we have the Chicago Blackhawks, and I have them taking the big right-hand defenseman, Artem Levshunov. Now, Levshunov is a great player here, and some might argue that they're going to go with Ivan Demidov, and they might. Demidov is definitely going to be the second best player in this draft. It's just a lot of people are concerned with getting him over from Russia, and there's lots of these other players that are really lots to like as well. I mean, Levshunov's already playing in the U.S. at Michigan State. 6'2", 200 pounds. He's right shot. Had a solid year. He led the Spartans in scoring as a freshman defenseman, which is not real common. Certainly good at both ends of the ice as well. He was a plus 26 in the regular season for his college team. I mean, just the way he can jump up into play, his skating, the offense, the defense. There's just too much here not to like, and it's a safer pick. So to me, Chicago builds their back end, which is a big part of winning championships down the road, and takes the big right-handed defenseman. At third overall, we have the Anaheim Ducks, and I have them taking the massive Russian defenseman, Anton Silyaev. Now, Silyaev is a pretty big defenseman here, obviously. 6'7", over 210 pounds. A lot of people feel he's deserving of a top 5 ranking. Obviously in this case he's a fantastic skater. Not going to be a ton of offense out of this guy. He's going to be a top 4 defenseman who can really be a shutdown type of guy. Doesn't seem to have any problem defending against the rush, and lots of speed coming at him. Certainly he has lots of agility, great skater, huge size, big wingspan. The Ducks have already built a lot of their offensive part of their game. They got a lot of big, young, talented forwards in that group already, and Silyaev would really give them a type of defenseman they don't have. They have some exciting young defenders back there in the Ducks prospect pool too, but nothing like this. It's just the size and everything that comes with it is too much to pass up. Next up at fourth overall, we have the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I have them taking big defenseman Sam Dickinson from the London Knights of the OHL. Now, this might be a pick that some disagree with. Certainly Dickinson's going to be a high pick. We know that. He's one of the top D-men in the draft. This organization has a lot of ties to the London Knights. via Rick Nash. There is also a possibility, as of I record this video, they have not named a new general manager yet, but one of the names we're hearing that's in the mix is Mark Hunter from London. So if he became GM of the Blue Jackets, I have no doubt he'd be very high on one of the players he helped develop and help work with here over the last number of years. But Dickinson has high-end offensive upside, ability to quarterback a power play, great skater as well, and pretty good defender for his age. So there's certainly not a lot to dislike here, and could be a terrific fit for this Blue Jackets team. They do have a variety of needs within the organization. They have to go with what I think they feel is the best player available, and I can see there being a lot to like about this guy for this organization. At number 5, we have the Montreal Canadiens, and I have them taking the big centerman from the Western Hockey League, Caden Lindstrom. Now, to me, he's the perfect pick for Montreal. They can certainly use some more depth down the middle and some more size down the middle. A lot of their other top young forwards in the organization, you look at Suzuki, you look at Caulfield, some of the other guys coming, they don't have a ton of size, and you need size down the middle and you need some size on the back end to ultimately be the most successful. And this guy has that, along with a lot of the other tools that you're looking for. Now, he did miss a fair bit of time this year due to injury, so it could affect his rating a little bit. But he's a power forward who's more of a goal scorer. So he's a goal-scoring centerman, who's less than a playmaker. Basically, so you have a good playmaking winger with him that would make for a great 1-2 punch. But like I said, putting him behind Suzuki on the center depth, to me, makes a ton of sense. It could be a good fit in their top 6 to really add some size and strength there. At number 6, I'm using the Arizona logo, but it's Team Utah because we don't have a new logo for them yet. And I have them taking Tija Ginla. Now, this is going to probably be, sad for Flames fans to see, but I'm not sure Ginla's going to be there when the Flames are picking at 9 unless they trade up. Ginla has been a high riser all year. For right now, he's just been going up and up and up and up and on his rankings here. I mean, he's a great skater, great scorer, really smart, plays the game well, not a liability at all defensively. Had a terrific U18 tournament for Team Canada. Obviously, you could have a Ginla playing with Doan in Utah, which I know is, obviously Shane Doan and Jerome Ginla have been great friends for a long time. So clearly, he's a great pick. And I don't know that Calgary's going to be able to get him at 9. Like I said, he's just been a high riser. His value keeps skyrocketing. And to me, he's a great player with good name value that would be great for the new Utah franchise to bring in as their first-round pick. At 7, we have the Ottawa Senators, and I have them taking right-shot defenseman Zane Parekh, who from the Saginaw Spirit, who's might be one of the top offensive players in this draft, period. He's had a phenomenal campaign. Of course, Saginaw as well also going to be participating in the Memorial Cup, which is going to be fun to watch too. But Parekh is one of the most creative players in this draft. Power play quarterback. The offense that he's put up has been absolutely phenomenal. And obviously from Ottawa's perspective, they're going to want to take the best player available. But when you have a defenseman that scored over 30 goals and almost 100 points, 96 points, hard not to consider him the best player available right now. I know Demidov has not been picked yet, but like I said, I think some teams are going to be cautiously avoiding it just because of the Russian factor and the unsureness of when he's going to come over. But Parekh not only is arguably one of the best players available in this draft at this spot, but he fits perfectly into what the Ottawa Senators need right now and could be a terrific top pair defenseman long-term for Jake Sanderson. Next up at number 8, we have the Seattle Kraken, and the slide ends here. Ivan Demidov becomes the selection. I don't see him sliding down too far. Obviously, this is, because he really could go 2 or 3, and he still might. You never know. I could be wrong here. I just have a feeling that some of these teams are going to like some of these other players and not have to deal with the Russian factor of when's he coming over. Is he going to come over at all? We've seen some issues with some of those players lately that's kind of delayed things. And there's some question marks there. I mean, obviously, it could happen to Silyev too, but I don't think that's as likely going to happen. But Demidov to Seattle would be huge. They need offense. They need scoring. This guy's an offensive dynamo. Will be a terrific fit on any team to add an offensive-minded player. So to me, he could be Great to sell jerseys, great to put butts in seats, and great to generate a lot of offense that the Kraken are missing. They will have to be patient, though, because it's unclear when he'll come to North America. At number 9, we have the Calgary Flames, and even though they might be upset they couldn't get a Ginla, they're going to take Berkeley Catton. Catton's a very capable player as well, also from the Western Hockey League. A little bit smaller in stature, 5'11", 163, but had a heck of a season, scoring 54 goals and 116 points. There's lots to like about his game for sure. Catton is kind of considered a dynamic offensive forward, but he does have a strong commitment on the defensive side of the puck as well. He was a player that his coach was comfortable putting him out there in all situations. He was a plus player, and he could go higher than this, to be honest. I don't think Calgary should look at him as a downgrade to not getting Tija Ginla. And some of the teams ahead of them might even like Catton more than I've anticipated here. And he could go even higher than this. He could go, 5, 6, 7. Nothing would surprise me. Very, very solid offensively gifted player here. Next up at number 10, we have the New Jersey Devils, and I have them selecting Konsta Helenius. The Finnish player, to me, would be a terrific mix here, fit in greatly with what New Jersey's already been able to accumulate over the last number of years. Obviously playing at the highest level in Finland, represented his country for the World Juniors. Player who plays the game really fast with a lot of speed. He can work well in the power play, leading the team with the breakout. Likes to attack the offensive zone with a lot of speed, and it's seen as being very difficult to defend here. Obviously, today's game is very much a speed game, and he fits in quite nicely with that. But to me, he can also be a player who can play in multiple situations and help them defend well. So, to me, he could be a great addition to the middle six for that team. Next up at number 11, we have the Buffalo Sabres, and they're going to take defenseman Carter Yakimchuk in this draft from the Western Hockey League's Calgary Hitmen. Another top right shot defenseman, 30-goal guy, lots of offense in his stick. And even though Buffalo has a lot of good young blue liners, if I had to select, the right side's a little weaker than the left side, and one of their top 4 right defensemen, Mattias Samuelsson, who's really good, and they signed to a longer-term contract, it tends to get hurt a lot, and has been a struggle in that sense. To me, this is some insurance. In longer term, they might even like Yakimchuk more than Samuelsson. Hard to say, but he's a great player. You have to take what's given to you here, and to me, he'd be too much for Buffalo to pass up on. Next up at number 12, we get the Philadelphia Flyers, and I have them selecting another top defenseman here from the University of Denver, Zeev Buium. Now, Buium is going to be coming into the NHL as at least a one-time, if not multiple, national champion. He's got good size, 6 feet tall, 183. He had just a really, really solid season. Played on Team USA's gold medal winning World Junior team as well. Very competitive, fast player. Certainly good in his own end as well, but has what many consider elite offensive skills and talents here, which is going to allow him to likely be a top pair, or at least top 4 for sure, but I'd say top pair defenseman at the NHL, who can kind of be relied upon on both ends of the ice. So for a team like Philadelphia to get a player like this at 12, I think they'd be ecstatic. The 13th overall selection is the Minnesota Wild, and I have them selecting Cole Yzerman. Yzerman's a player who has a lot of different opinions of him out there. Some say, and I would agree, that he has potential to be the top goal-scoring forward in this draft. Has a wicked shot, can score goals, there's no doubt. But there's certainly parts of his game that seems to be a bit of a concern. A really good one-timer. Like I said, his shot by far his strongest suit, but defensively, there's certainly lots of work to be done, you could say. There's also some that think his IQ might not be the highest. The way he reads and reacts to plays is something that he needs to kind of get better at and improve upon as well, to kind of earn more trust from his coach to be responsible out there. But Yzerman has, like I said, he might be a one-trick pony goal scorer, but that's the hardest thing to do in the NHL. And if he can do it in strong bunches like he has at the lower levels, then he should still be a great addition to their top 6. At 14th overall, by way of Pittsburgh, we have the Sharks with their second first-rounder, and I have them kind of going a little bit of a stretch here. We're taking defenseman Cole Hudson. Hudson is ranked a little bit lower here. This would be a small stretch based on rankings, but he's a dynamic player that I think Mike Grier would absolutely love and would certainly have a lot of intel on, considering where he's coming from here. He's going to Boston University in the fall. Obviously, his ties to that school, a player that he would, be able to get a lot of easy updates on. Power play quarterback. His obviously brother Lane went lower than this, and he slipped in the draft too. And I don't think that's going to happen here with Cole. He's not going to slip as much, but power play quarterback, terrific skater, can make himself very elusive to getting away from pressure. Just the absolute joy to watch. A dynamic defenseman, for sure. Of course, his brother Lane went to BU as well. Just signed with the Montreal Canadiens, so they won't play together next year. But at the same time, Cole Hudson will be able to take over for his brother and have that top spot. So to me, small stretch, but big win for San Jose. They get a star forward and top centerman, and they can get themselves a top defenseman here as well. With the 15th pick, we have the Detroit Red Wings, and I have them selecting another forward here from the OHL, Liam Greentree. Now, Greentree from the Windsor Spitfires has pretty good size, 6'2", 210 pounds. Certainly has potential, I think, to be a solid top six forward. He plays a power style of game. Obviously, his size allows him to do that. The numbers aren't quite as big as some of the other forwards ahead of him, but still, I think there's lots to like here about his game and about just the overall makeup of this player. I think he's a player that will likely see NHL games faster than some of the guys that are taken ahead of him. I think he's got the size and the strength already, which is obviously something that a lot of these guys have to work at over time. But I think Greentree here could be a terrific, nice, solid, good sized forward that can play a power style of role to fit in well with the Red Wings top six here. The number 16th selection belongs to the St. Louis Blues, and I have them selecting Michael Brandsig-Nygaard. Now, I believe I've had the Blues taking him in previous drafts as well, and to me, he's just a good fit there and a real solid player for the middle part of the first round. The Norwegian player played for Norway at the World Juniors, putting up 3 goals and 2 assists, which was good to see as well. His skating has come a long way. His speed's gone to another level over this past year. Hard-working player, doesn't shy away from the tough stuff on the ice and the battles on the boards and in the corners, which is great to see, along with a bit of an offensive flair. So to me, he's a good mixture of a variety of skill set here. Can be really, I think, a good utility player here for the Blues down the road. So those are my top 16 picks for the draft as of right now. Like I said, things in my opinions could change. Some of these players may end up, in different spots, but this is my opinion as of right now. So let me know what you think on these prospects and these selections and the fit for each team down in the comments. We'll discuss further. If you're new to the channel, of course, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the other details around the 2024 NHL draft, as well as all the news and rumors around all 32 NHL teams. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you next time.